Okay, so we got another morning where, well, for me it's morning. It's 1 o'clock, 1:16 to be precise in the afternoon. Uh, Woke up, can't get back to sleep, and I need to sleep for a couple more hours because I'm leaving for work at 4 o'clock, and I won't be getting home till around 6. So I don't want to get drowsy while I'm at work. So I want to try to sleep for a couple more hours. So I'm gonna shoot this video and hopefully by then I'll have spent enough energy that I can get back to sleep. But here we are with another unboxing, and this is a Fortnite Victory Royale series. This is NC. Oh, blinked out for a second there. As you can see, this is another one I got at Ollie's for fairly cheap. Good stuff, cheap. It's Ollie's. So yeah, I got this a while back. This is another thing in my big pile of stuff. Got a lot of Fortnite figures in my big pile of stuff because a lot of times I'll see something cool at Ollie's or Ross anytime I stop in there. And sometimes it's a figure where I feel like there's some custom potential, and sometimes it's a figure where I feel like it'd be pretty cool to add to my collection. Even though I don't really play Fortnite and don't know a whole heck of a lot about it, I do like a lot of the aesthetics of it. It is very inspired by a lot of the stuff I grew up with. There's a lot of GI Joe influence in Fortnite, so I tend to like a lot of those figures. And I've always had a thing for astronauts. I've always thought astronauts were pretty cool. And hey, here's a 2-pack with some astronauts. So of course I was interested in that. Now, going back to the GI Joe thing, there is definitely some potential for some GI Joe customs here. Specifically, I'm thinking about Ace, the fighter pilot for the Sky Striker, since he had kind of an astronaut kind of looking outfit, and I thought this guy would be a cool guy to transform into Ace, and it'd be pretty easy. I could do it with minimal work to the body. I'd mainly just need to make him a new head where he doesn't have this green man bun. But let's go ahead and we'll open these guys up. We already looked at the back, so you got like pictures of the figures with an accessory layout, and we'll get into all those accessories when we open up the figures. No cross-sell artwork, and it does seem to be like the typical, what we've come to expect from the Fortnite figures in terms of the trade dress. And these are made by Hasbro. Some of the Fortnite figures are made by Jazzwares, and some of them are made by Hasbro. And I'm not sure what the deal is, if like Jazzwares lost the license, Hasbro acquired the license, or what. I don't know about the behind the scenes shenanigans as far as that goes. But oh, we got some of those little plastic envelopes from Hasbro that you know I love those. So there we go. We'll set that aside, and here are the figures in the package. These are not exactly plastic-free packages because it does have like a little bit of a window there where you can see the figures' heads, as we saw before. But you can see that it does have like some of the plastic-free elements to it, since it doesn't have a plastic tray. It just has this kind of cardboard frame to hold the figures. Got 1, 2, 3 bags of accessories. So and even though it's supposed to be like cutting down the plastic, it does have my hated plastic tabs on there. So it's like the worst of both worlds. Usually with these Hasbro figures with these so-called plastic-free packaging, they have little paper ropes holding the figures in, and I like those better than the plastic tabs. But these have the plastic tabs. And just because I say I like them better than the plastic tabs doesn't mean I like them. It just means that like they're not as horrible as the plastic tabs, which is a pain. So at least with the plastic ropes, I can kind of cut them from the back. So there is I'm assuming this guy is Dio. He looks more like a Dio, and she looks more like a Siona. I could be wrong, but yeah. So there he is out of the package, and he's a fairly beefy guy. You know, he is wearing a spacesuit. So just to compare to an average size GI Joe, I happen to have Shipwreck Candy here, and he's slightly taller and a bit more bulky, but he is wearing a spacesuit. So I don't know if he's actually like a muscular dude, like a more muscular dude than average, or if that's just the bulk of the spacesuit. Because it does appear to be kind of a tight fitting spacesuit, you know what I mean? But but he could just be like a big dude, or it could just be a big spacesuit. I'm gonna assume he's a big dude, so we're gonna put him aside for the nonce, and then we will work on Siona and getting her out of the package. And unlike her compatriot, she appears to be a little more on the slight side. I am assuming that these two are related, probably brother and sister. I don't see any kind of bio on the package. I guess they figure if you're going to buy a 2-pack of these characters, you already know who they are. I don't see bios on most of these Fortnite packages, and I don't know if maybe that's because they didn't really bother to, you know, develop like actual characters around these characters. Like maybe it's the sort of thing where like you're just supposed to make up your own backstory for them. But I mean, they're interesting enough characters. They're astronauts. They appear to be brother and sister. That would be my assumption. She'd probably be the younger of the two because she's. I know she's a girl, but she's much shorter and slighter than her brother. So I would assume that she's like the younger sister. Like they could be the same age, and she's just smaller because she's a girl. I don't know. But yeah, so this elbow seems to be sticking a little bit. There, I got it loose. Never force your action figure joints. Remember that watching at home. Never force your action figure joints. I gently coaxed it until it bent into the position that I wanted it in. And you can see that her spacesuit is definitely kind of bulky because you can see that like especially the lower parts of her sleeves and her hands. She got very big hands for a young lady this size, and in fact, I think they're slightly bigger than his. When I compare them, they look like they're slightly bigger than his. So that's something right there. And her spacesuit is a little different because he's got these straps that attach to these pouches on the legs, and she's got these pouches that hang down from straps, almost kind of like they look almost kind of like holsters, but I don't think they're supposed to be holsters, and they definitely don't hold anything because they're solid. But their spacesuits do match up quite a bit. They're not 100% identical. Like you can see that, like her zipper in the front has a little bit more of a zigzag, which I don't know if that's supposed to be because it looks like a wrinkle in the suit or whatnot. But she's obviously supposed to be a very petite girl. She, I don't know, I'd be crass about this, but she doesn't have a whole lot in terms of like her bust size. So you know, she's a very small girl. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, like I like Keira Knightley, but she's definitely on the smaller side, is what I'm saying. But she's got big hands, so she must be wearing some thick gloves, I'm guessing. So now the interesting thing is on the package, it shows both characters have short sleeves. So I'm assuming that the whole sleeve is supposed to be removable from this outfit, at least in the game. But there's no indication that it comes with like alternate arms to swap out or anything like that with these figures. So I'm not expecting to find those when I open up these accessories. But let's go ahead and open up these accessories and see what we got. So these are kind of taped, and unlike a lot of these baggies, these aren't sealed. They're open baggies, but they're taped at the top. A little bit of a moment there. All right, so we got these collars, and that's supposed to be, I guess, the lower part of the helmet, and they look kind of similar to each other. And then got a helmet here, which has got a jagged edge around the bottom, so I guess it's supposed to look like it's broken when it's off the figure. But yeah, these are supposed to be the helmets that are going to go on the figures, so you see to assemble them yourself. And then this little piece of moon rock, and it's got a peg on it, so I guess it's going to attach somewhere to something. So let's see about putting the helmets on the figures. Since I have the helmets out, since she was handy, I'll do her first. And her head comes off. And that's good because this would not fit around her head. So you're going to have to remove the figure's head to put the helmet on, FYI. So we'll pop that on. And her helmet, I'm assuming, is the one that's the slightly smaller of the two. And that's what she looks like with the helmet on. And you can see it's not like entirely a clear helmet because it has this kind of texture to it, almost kind of like this honeycomb on the inside. So it looks to me almost like it would be a helmet that maybe and again, I haven't played the game, so I don't know that this is how this would work. But it looks to me like it might be a helmet that somehow, like, the dome of it kind of forms around, like maybe it kind of rolls back in small pieces, like it's Iron Man or something. And then you can just have like the lower part of the helmet on the figure. And then when she needs to go back out into outer space, it kind of rolls back into place. It doesn't seem like it stays on as well as you might like it to. And you might be tempted to glue it, but then you wouldn't be able to remove the head to remove the helmet. So if you glue it on, it's going to be on forever. So there you go. But it was cheap enough that, like, you could probably just buy another set at Ollie's if you wanted to do that, and then you could just have one set with the removable helmet glued on, and one set where they just don't wear a helmet at all. So let's put Dio's helmet on. And again, we got to pop his head off because that's the only way that's going to fit on there. And the collar portion of it does fit within the collar of the suit, or at least it's intended to. Kind of being a little, it was a little easier on her than it was on his, and that might just be my version. Also, when I popped his head off, this happens sometimes. I notice with Hasbro figures is sometimes the little barbell pops off with the head, and sometimes it stays in the neck. But it shouldn't be too hard to pop it back in either way. I would probably prefer for the barbell to stay in the neck, but that was not the luck of the draw this time. And then his collar came loose again. I'm going to tilt this slightly because it seems like this is angled lower than I would like. Okay, there we go. Got his head back on. All right. And then we can pop the dome over that. And it kind of clicked into place. But there we go. There's him with the helmet. It's kind of annoying. There's a little bit of space here. You see what I'm talking about? Whereas you wouldn't want that with a space helmet. You wouldn't want to have holes in it like that. So they didn't quite get that to engineer correctly, I think. I would like for that to be a little more flush. But there you go. So here's what Dio looks like with his helmet. Let's have a look at them together. There we go. All right, and then the only other accessory in that bag was the little asteroid looking thing, which I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that. All right, so then we got this other little baggie, and again, this one's taped up, and it seems like it's open at the top, but it's not like it mattered because it tore when I tried to open it up anyway. And make sure there's nothing else in there. So these are the two guns that come with the characters. So you have this rifle, and you have this submachine gun, and those are both kind of nice looking weapons. So those are good. And if we look at how it's laid out in the package, that would seem to imply that the submachine gun comes with Dio, and the rifle comes with Siona. So, and again, since I'm not overly familiar with the game, I don't know if those are bespoke weapons that come with those characters, or if you can just. It just seems to me like Fortnite, the characters are kind of customizable, so you can give them whatever weapons you wanted to. So if you wanted to give him the rifle and give her the submachine gun, I don't know if it would make that big a difference. So here we got a pickaxe type weapon, and a lot of Fortnite figures come with pickaxe type weapons, and these appear to be identical. And looking at the package, these both come with her. These are both supposed to be hers, so she can dual wield those, I guess. So we'll set those aside. I'm going to try to keep those split up between which figure goes with what. Let me go ahead and open this up. I have so many Fortnite figures I still need to open. So got a whole lot of those. So he's got this big old hammer for his pickaxe type weapon. And I say hammer because this end of it is blunt. So and this end looks like it'd be the pickaxe end of it, but it's way more like a hammer, I would think. So, and then got this little doodad, which this also has a peg on it. So apparently that's supposed to go onto something. And that looks like a similar asteroid to the one we already have, but it's encased in this translucent bubble with kind of an orange and white ring around it, and these two little orange doodads there. So since they both have pegs on them, they're both supposed to peg into something, but I haven't seen anything overly obvious that they're supposed to peg into yet. Looking over Dio's hammer, I don't see any holes it should go in. There's no explanation on the package as to what this stuff is supposed to peg onto. I have no idea. So it doesn't have any illustration or any sort of writing to let us know what that does. So if you've played Fortnite and you know anything about these two particular accessories within the game and where they should attach to the characters, maybe, please let me know in the comments. Because I would like to figure that out. It does fit into his back. Does that. So maybe it's supposed to fit into his back. I don't know. So this one, the peg hole seems too small to fit into a backpack hole. Maybe her backpack hole is smaller. And it is. So you can put the asteroids into their backs. That's what I figured out with that, is you can fit these in. Oh, hey, Aunt June's there. Hi, Aunt June. So yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with that. So if anybody's actually played Fortnite and knows anything about that, you can let me know in the comments. I would appreciate it. So let's see how they look holding some of these weapons, and we'll start with Dio, since he's got this big old hammer. See if we can get that in his hand. No alternate hands with these figures. They have figures that are made to hold guns, so that's good since they both have guns, and they both have these kind of Fortnite-y kind of accessories. The hands are rather rigid, so it's going to be kind of tricky to pull them apart and fit the hammer in there. Not impossible, though. we can get him into a two-handed pose with the hammer. So there we go, ready to smash some stuff up. And the hammer itself looks kind of like it's made from moon rock. It's got little pits and craters in there, but you can see where like it looks like somebody's chipped away at it to get into the shape that it's in. So pretty cool little accessory, not too bad. And then besides that, we got that submachine gun. So let's go ahead and put that in his hand. See what he looks like. So I suspect this is what he's supposed to look like when he's all geared up, since apparently that does peg into his back. And if I'm mistaken about that, if it's supposed to go somewhere else, somebody can let me know. But if nobody lets me know, I'm assuming nobody really cares. So, but yeah, I think that's how that's supposed to go. And I do really like this gun. That's a cool little gun. That's nice. So that's Dio. We'll set him aside, and we'll go back to Siona. And she's got this rifle. So let's go ahead and put the rifle in her hand first. And there we go. So there she is holding the rifle. And this looks like a desert-themed rifle. So you might think it's a little odd that an astronaut would have a desert-themed rifle, but I don't know if astronauts carry rifles at all. So I don't know if it's any more odd than like a jungle-themed rifle or whatever. You can fit the rifle into a two-handed grip like that. I did have to kind of, pull the hand open and bend it around the front of the rifle, but she can hold it. And you can't really turn her head when she's got the helmet on. So if you want to have her like looking in the direction that she's holding the rifle, you're going to have to turn the head before you put the helmet on. So, but we can take it back off. I don't know if it's going to fit back on that way, though, because it looks like now that her chin might be in the way. No, it went back on just fine. I guess the collar moved when I popped the helmet back on, just enough for her head to fit on there. Now, she's got that little bit of a space at the bottom of the helmet, too, like I was talking about with Dio, but it's not quite as obvious on his. Now, if a kid's playing with this, he can use his imagination. She can use her imagination, whatever, and pretend like it's sealed up. But I know if I was a kid, it would still bug me. So it's kind of bugging me a little bit as an adult, if I'm being honest. But they're still pretty cool figures. So let's see what she looks like with her two pickaxes. And since these are two identical pickaxes, I'm assuming that this is intended to be a dual wielding kind of situation. And it may just be because I had the rifle in her hand first. I probably should have gone with the pickaxes first. But they do seem to grip a little loosely in the hands, but they've got just enough tension that they should hold in there just fine. So if I was giving these to a kid to play with, the thing I would be concerned about is the helmets don't seem all that sturdy as far as like holding up to rough play and stuff. So if I saw kids playing with these kind of rough, I'd be concerned that these helmets would be falling apart. And thankfully, since they are helmets that are two-piece helmets that are intended to come apart, they're not supposed to be solid pieces. They're not going to break, is what I'm saying. But if the kid's playing with them out in the yard or something, they might lose them in the grass or something like that, and that would be disappointing, because then you've got an astronaut figure with no helmet. And who wants that? You want your astronauts to have helmets, right? So going back to the action figure package, the helmets on the package look a lot more translucent than the ones that actually come on the figures. And I'm thinking these are probably made to look more like how the helmets look in the game. And to me, what it looks like is that it would be like, at least in the game, like a clear dome, and that the kind of honeycomb pattern in there would be more of like a laser looking thing, like maybe like an HUD or something like that. But this was probably the best way that they could execute it in terms of putting it into plastic form. So I think it still looks all right, but I probably would have preferred they just did a clear helmet if I had to pick one or the other. I think a clear helmet would have been fine. So these are pretty cool figures. I'm glad to have them in my collection. And like I said, I got a lot of custom ideas for things that I could do with Dio as far as GI Joe figures go. Like I could think of a few characters that I could customize out of such a body. I can't really think of many custom ideas to do with her, so that means I'd wind up with like a few extra Siona figures. Maybe I could try to sell them on eBay or something like that, because I don't think I'd need more than one of her. But for custom purposes, at least, I would probably want to have more of him. And these are cool enough figures that I'd want to have these intact in my collection anyway. So hopefully I can find some more of these for cheap at Ollie's in future visits there once I get in a position where I'm a little more financially stable and I can be buying new stuff again. So so yeah, that's pretty much the story of these. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. If you want to catch the live stream like my Aunt June did this episode, so that's fun, make sure you hit the little bell and turn that to gray, and that'll warn you anytime I'm going online, and you can join in with me in the chat. Now, honestly, I mainly do these as live streams for my own personal convenience. It's not really intended to be the sort of thing where, like, you know, we have chats in the comments and stuff, but I never mind having chats in the comments and stuff. I quite enjoy it. My friend Anthony Gerardo joined me the other day in my U.S. agent review, and we had fun chatting while I opened that up. So that was pretty cool. So so feel free to join in if you want, but don't feel like you're obligated. You don't have to. I'm not asking you to. But if you want to, you're more than welcome. You consider yourself invited. Uh, but yeah, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. This channel is growing slowly but surely. We're getting close to 300 subscribers. How about that? So so yeah, if you enjoy this type of content, you know, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to like it. Feel free to comment. If you don't like this kind of content, feel free to comment. Any kind of interaction's good. You know, as far as the algorithm goes, monetize your haters. That's what they say, isn't it? So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. We will talk to you next time. Bye.